Well, it's exactly 1 year since Russia launched its full-scale invasion of Ukraine, upending the lives of millions across the country. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy hailed the nation for its endurance this past year, vowing to achieve victory, no matter what that might take.
Тому у цей день, з цього ж місця, близько 7 ранку я звернувся до вас з короткою заявою, тривалістю всього 67 секунд. В ній пролунали дві найголовніші і тоді, і зараз речі. Те, що Росія почала проти нас повномасштабну війну. І те, що ми сильні, ми готові до всього. Ми всіх переможемо, бо ми – це Україна. Так розпочалось 24 лютого 2022 року. Найдовший день нашого життя, найважчий день нашої новітньої історії. Ми прокинулись рано і відтоді не засинаємо.
Mr. Zelenskyy also attending a ceremony in Kyiv's Sophia Square. He thanked troops for their service and presented medals to several military personnel and relatives of fallen soldiers. Dozens of memorials, candlelight vigils and other events are set to take place across Ukraine today.
Для мене цей день розділив життя, як вже сказала, до і після. Я рік не була вдома, я рік не бачила свою родину, тому для мене це страшний біль. І той день, куди не хочеться повертатися думками і там передивлятися світлини, відео і так далі. Дуже важкий день.
Що почалася війна, тому ми сьогодні тут для того, щоб визначальний такий день, що рік війни. І я вже сподіваюся, що слідуючої річниці в нас не буде. Я вірю в те, що в цьому році ми вже закінчимо війну.
For more, we're joined by CNA's Jeremy Cole live for us there from Kyiv. Jeremy, just heard there what people on the ground are feeling. What else have you heard where you are?
Well, earlier this morning, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy pledged to push for a victory this year as the country marks its first anniversary of Russia's invasion. Now, all across the country, funerals are held for the recently killed, and church services also held to commemorate those who have fallen as well. And on social media, Ukrainians are posting recollections of what happened when Russia invaded the country last year. But, there are no large gatherings across the country. Remember, this is a country that's still at war, and there have been expectations that Russia would launch a fresh offensive, or at least fresh air raids today to mark the first anniversary of its invasion. But as of now, which is also why the government has asked, the schools to move their classes online and for government employees to work from home as well. But as of now, there have been no air raid sirens. The city looks calm. You can look around me. Cars, pedestrians are still on the streets. The shops are open. The restaurants are open. In fact, we just had lunch across the street. So there is a veneer of normality, even though, the streets may be a bit quieter than usual, but it still feels pretty calm here in Kyiv. But, that's just how Kyiv is looking right now. You speak to any Ukrainian, and their stories of loss. Now, many Ukrainians have already left the country, but of those who are still remaining here in Ukraine, they're defiant, they want to push Russians out, they're angry, and they want to hold those accountable for what happened here.
Oh, Jeremy, you mentioned that where you are in Kyiv, no air raid sirens. You can actually have lunch in a restaurant. But we are hearing reports of more Russian activity in the east and southern fronts. Any confirmation?
Well, yes,
those?
indeed, the fierce fighting is still ongoing. Well, yes, indeed, fierce fighting is still ongoing in many parts of eastern as well as southern Ukraine. So, especially in the city of Bakhmut, Russian soldiers have reportedly taken villages to the south of Bakhmut, and they control the city's western sections. And there have also been reports that the Russians are trying to encircle Bakhmut as well. Estimates that thousands of soldiers have already been killed in the very, very fierce fighting here. And elsewhere in the country, in the south, in Donetsk, there are also many towns experiencing heavy shelling. But that aside, the UK Defense Ministry issued an intelligence report saying that Russia may have changed its strategy here. Instead of focusing on seizing substantial amounts of new territory, they're focusing focusing on wearing down the Ukrainians. So it's going to be a grinding war of attrition that we're going to see here. But there have also been reports that Ukraine is planning for a spring offensive to retake some of the towns that are under Russian control right now. So we have to look out for that.
Oh, thanks for that. Jerry McCall reporting live to us there from Kyiv.